high-grade Gundam Age-FX Burst. Hey, what's up again, everybody? Robert 184 2's gundam.tk, and the Gundam Age-FX in its burst mode is all put together here, the high grade, and now it's time to take a look at it compared to its normal counterparts. But first, what does the myriad of blue plates yield you? Well, you can see that you've got the rifle there, 14 different C funnels. You're also going to have 4 different kinds here of the actual jets that are going to go shoot out. 3 extra manipulators, 2 clear beam sabers there, and the 4 types. 2 large ones, and you're going to have 4 of these ones, and I think 10 and 2 for the smaller ones. And you've got that clear stand, which is going to help you make poses like this. And here is the final product, which is really going to be coming across as looking gray or purple as the primary color, as opposed to the regular Gundam white that we're also used to. You're not really going to notice the purple here that's offset for parts like the vents, and up on the jewel for the head. It's going to blend in very much with that main blue color that's going to go on around. But probably the thing that you're going to notice most is just this very dark blue here. This is used both in the weapons and for the inner frame, so you'll notice it on the back of the knees, especially if it's on a rotating base. But otherwise, it's the front of the elbows that's going to be standing out the most. Here's a close-up with the real changes that I did is just taking some black Gundam marker and putting it on the lower part there, and then when you clamp the top part on, it's going to look a lot better. And that clear part for the H symbol there is actually painted up in green rather than using the seals. Next to the original on the right, you can see where you're going to have all the color apps with basically that purple looking almost Delta Plus-ish over there. It's just going to have a whole lot more blue. As I said, it's really only going to be these elbow parts that are going to stand out to a large degree. And I suppose that the other biggest difference is just that the yellow parts there that are going to make up the vents, the neck, and the V-fin on the regular Age-FX are still going to be in yellow. And here's my take on the Age-FX Burst here, and this is basically going to be the same kit that you just saw with the white, except instead of keeping it all white, I just painted it over in fluorescent blue, which means it is going to have the plus of lighting up under a black light, but it is also going to have the con of keeping the yellow parts on. But overall, you can see that the color scheme here, this one, is going to be pretty tame in comparison. And amongst the 3 of them, sort of looks like a transition mode between the 2 of them, or something that's deactivated from Gundam Seed. Before he bursts out, it's worth noting that if you take a look around the promo pictures around the box, that the C funnels are almost an afterthought. They're only going to show them off once on the ring all behind him, and you can see why for some reason here when you're taking a look at the regular Age-FX. First of all, you've got the nice color contrast between the blue and the purple and the yellow, and then you've got the white and the green, whereas with this one, the blue parts for the C funnels are almost going to blend in, and against a black backdrop like this, you'll hardly see them at all unless they go fully hulked out. Which you can do with these flare-like funnels here. Basically, they're going to look pretty cool as they've actually got some fire-like designs down below. But you'll want to be more careful with the short variety here that you don't get them mixed up, as they do have different widths here. And now you're going to have some extra ones here that you can start filling in all the extra holes down there, like 3 each on either leg. But it's here where perhaps any disappointment that you might have felt over the somewhat dull color scheme and the fact that the C funnels are really not going to show up, well, it's the exact opposite problem here, and that's really not a problem at all, because they are going to become extremely visible here. You've got the 2 long ones in the back, and if you wanted to put those on the front, either on the shoulders or on the hips, you can make them even more imposing. But just the fact that you're going to have these things jutting out at a much bigger length than the regular C funnels of either the long or the short variety means that because they're just going to be shooting out more, that you're just going to be a lot more visible. And I'd say that the ones down on the ankles are actually going to really help it stand out there. One of the disappointing things, though, is that even though they do give you a lot, they're going to be giving you 12 of the small ones instead of just the 8 that you would normally be getting. It's not enough to cover absolutely every possibility there, as there are actually 4 mounting points here on the back. So right now 2 of them are empty, and the 2 up on the shoulders, if you follow the instructions, that normally would be visible if you were looking down at it on your shelf. You just can't do. Of course, you could always go and add some C funnels to it, but overall for looks, this one right now, I'd say, can't really be topped. Side by side with the regular one, though, you are going to notice just the fact that you're not going to be getting the extra colors. Even with the regular blue C funnels, they're going to be having those purple parts down below. And with these ones, you're going to have that little flame part that's burnt into them, or so it looks like from the underside. But you're really not going to see it stand out compared to the 4 different shades of blue and purple that are going to go all over the body. But that's to be expected when you're contrasting it with green on white. But having the 2 of them together on your shelf, it just seems like there's no end of cool ideas that you could come up with, and that's even before they get up aerial. But even before using the C-funnels, don't forget that you've got that big blue. The nice gray has been turned into that very lustrous blue, and the plastic has always been a little bit different on this kit. And the beam saber there in clear is actually going to do a pretty good job. It is going to stand out, and for people who hate getting, I especially used to complain about the 00 kits, not getting things in clear green and stuff like that. But if you want to go and paint this beam saber up in whatever size you want and use it for lots of high grades, now you've got the chance, and it's not going to look that bad right out of the box in its clear natural color. And the flexibility of the action base that's going to be included there allows you to take those C-funnels and set them up big, small, all the way around and get 14 in place in the down position. But ultimately, it's the angry bursts of Kyo that are going out of the body all over the place there, and the 14 C-funnels, which look fantastic. The fact that you don't have to pick and choose like we had to do with the regular Age-FX if you only had the one. You could do little cheats like have the C-funnels up on half the circle here and half the body, or do all sorts of different things and just display them from one side or the other. But with this one, with the 3 plates of clear plastic that you're going to be getting, there is blue shooting out all over the place, and if you thought it was a little bit understated with just the purple, before you add on all the effect parts, when you've got this many on there, there's no way, I think, for you not to be impressed. And it seems like this is the kind of display, if you have 2 regular Age-FXs, that yes, rotating turntables were just made for. So some final thoughts for this kit, where it was sort of a roller coaster, a good thing, then a bad thing, then a good thing, then a bad thing. But overall, in the end, you can guess that it's going to be pretty good, and that's just from the looks alone and the fact that Bandai is not skimping on the clear effect parts. First of all, you're only going to be paying an extra 200 yen, and I wish we could have done that for the regular Age-FX and just got a more green C-funnels that way. But here, you're just the fact that you're going to be getting these interesting keyed out parts here. First of all, the fact that you're getting 4 different sizes, 4 different types, and the fact that they're hollow, so you're not going to have any weight issues from them, and you can arrange them in whatever order you want, that's a big plus. But on the downside department, it is too bad because for the back of the forearms, the shoulders, and it just seems like, and on the back of the thrusters, we could have actually had 6 more, and you could have actually put them to good use. The plastic itself that's used is a very nice and glossy plastic, but on the downside, you're not going to be able to do anything fancy with a black light on this guy. Neither the blue parts nor the regular body parts are going to move, whereas if you go and actually put this on the green, so the regular Age-FX is going to have a bit of a plus there, but overall the 4 colors that you're going to get, some of them really stand out, and my favorite has got to be this blue that's very glossy, and it's used on the stand, and it's going to stand out there to good effect, and in the bazooka, which just makes it a lot of fun. Throw in the fact that this was a great kit to begin with, and throw in the fact that you've got these clear beam sabers that you can go and paint up, and they're actually going to look good, and it's sort of neat that they stepped away from the blue. We've got so much of it otherwise that they didn't need to add more of it, and this kit is a definite recommend for me, as ultimately it was the final form of the final Gundam of the final 4. Yes, Gundam Age broke a lot of conventions there, except for the whole Trans Am part. But anyway, everybody, this kit was a lot of fun, so why don't you let me know what you think of it, and in the future speculation, Master Grade Age-FX will be coming. You've got to imagine that there might be an online exclusive similar to this, although if the retail sales are high enough for this, you'd think they would. But we've already seen with 00 that things like that, Trans Am not necessarily going to sell at retail after they already experimented with the Exia. Anyway, everybody, why don't you let me know what you think of the kit, the future, and everything else. And as always, thanks for watching, and stick around for lots more news, reviews, and everything else you can use. See you next time, everybody. Bye. Would Bandai ever consider online exclusiving a burst mode for the AG or the SD? Well, never mind, I'd just settle for an SD Dark Hound personally. Sort of makes me want to take a regular Exia and put a Trans Am mode behind him and have them spin around like that too.